Assalamu alaikum. I apologize. The internet, the live stream went out for a second, but just to reiterate, um, Muslims, just like human beings, are not cookie cutter, and Muslims are not cookie cutter. Although we share certain characteristics, we share a belief, we share an understanding. Also, that being said, Muslims should embody certain consistencies, despite we are not cookie cutter. Muslims should embody certain standards, practices, beliefs, so on and so forth, even though we are not cookie cutter. Now, the fear of the unknown regarding Muslim women, what is the essence of that? When a man looks to marry a Christian woman, you expect certain practices and certain behaviors based on her faith. When a man seeks to marry a Jewish woman, a Muslim man seeks to marry a Jewish woman, he expects certain behaviors and practices according to that faith. Now, let's say they don't practice everything that their faith or what's accustomed to be practiced in their faith. Beside the point, we understand that they, as Muhammad said, al kufru millatan wahida, that the kufr is all one belief. So we expect them to be consistent in their kufr. If they do any acts resembling iman, then they are getting these acts from you and being in your company and being under your influence as a husband, as a Muslim husband. But when it comes to Muslim women, again, we expect them to embody certain consistencies. Okay? When you marry a Muslim woman and you go through the very same trials and tribulations that you would go through with a non Muslim woman, then where is the Muslim factor? Where would be the Muslim factor? There are brothers that married Muslim women because, that was the best of the pick. Jew, Christian, or Muslim. That's your right to marry. If all three of them are Muslimat, they are uh, guarded. Their reputations are guarded, so on and so forth. They don't have a bad reputation in society. I know the term chaste is used, but people misconstrue that with virginity. And if a Christian or Jewish woman must be virgin, then a Muslim woman must be virgin as well. A Christian or Jewish woman must be virgin, and a Muslim woman must be virgin as well, because that is the same standard that Allah Ta'ala had revealed in Quran. You know, so that being said, so why do we fear the Muslim woman? Why do we fear the unknown aspects of the Muslim woman? Because how many women? Um, Let me back that up. We live in a society now that the Muslim men and women are warning other Muslim men that may be inclined to marry a Jew or a Christian. They are warning them, um, don't do that because she may raise the kids kafir. She would take you to court. She would take the kids. She would do this. She would drag you through the mud. She would, so on and so forth. Allah has witnessed that the Muslim men are going through the very same thing with Muslim women. So the warning is well received. It's well intended. It's on point that this Jew or Christian woman would take you to the cleaners. But Muslim men are going through the same exact thing with Muslim women. So if you say don't marry that Kafir woman, y'all can't pray together. I know Muslim couples that don't pray together. They have very contentious relationships because I go for the man first. The man is, off it. He's off it. He's not practicing. He's doing something he shouldn't be doing, so on and so forth. So therefore, they are not, praying together or fasting together or doing, other acts, other monastic, other rituals together. They're not going to the masjid together. They're not studying together. He's not teaching her. She's not teaching him. They're not studying together. They're listening to lectures together, so on and so forth, because the relationship is contentious. Okay, now Um, they don't work out. They have a child. They don't work out. They get divorced. The Islamic, she get divorced and the child is with her, and he's supposed to pay maintenance. He's not paying maintenance like he should. So that relationship continues to be contentious. Um, or she's not giving him his rights to his child. So therefore, he don't see the need to pay maintenance on a child that he has no rights over. Or she's not giving him rights to his child. He's paying the maintenance. So they have very harsh things to say about and to each other based on this scenario. In this society is matriarchal. It's patriarchal in practice, but matriarchal in concept. Because why? They are leaning toward the woman because they know if they can empower the woman, they can destroy the man. When you destroy the man, you destroy the man's household. Now, whose household does this affect more than not? It affects the oppressed more than it affects the non oppressed or the oppressor. The oppressor has a standard. Here's a standard in his home, and no matter what all that women's live and women's empowerment and feminism that may be talked about, the house is clean, the meals are cooked, patriarchal inside the home, matriarchal lip service outside of the home. So nevertheless, you live in a society that if she wants to destroy a home, she can go to the kuffar and destroy the home. So the Muslim woman is looking at two sides. I'm looking at Islam that seems to favor him because he gets the child if I remarry. So I'm gonna go to the kuffar or use the kuffar as protection against Islam. Yet, you know, alhamdulillah, he didn't marry a Jew or a Christian. It's like we say, it is the wolf versus the fox. You know the wolf. You know the wolf. If you're going to deal, I'd rather deal with the wolf because see, the fox is too unpredictable. The fox is too unpredictable. And I apologize if you can hear these guys talking. This is a Muslim establishment. The kuffar come in here, so it's a conundrum. But nevertheless, so she finds it easier to lean on the kuffar because that punishes that Muslim man for us not working out. So I'm gonna traumatize the children even further by denying them their father, which leads to what? Violence, gangs, homosexuality. It leads to dropout rate, suicide rate. It leads to all of that. When a child doesn't have a father in their life, that's male or female. Females especially need fathers, and sons cannot become men or learn how to be fathers without their father around. And a lot of women have this stepdad concept. Oh, I'll find a man to. Well, if I'm the biological dad, how you gonna find a proxy? How you gonna find a proxy to love my child like I would love my child? How you gonna find a proxy to protect my child how I would protect my child? And how you gonna find a proxy to have inheritance for my child like I would naturally Islamically have inheritance for my child? So if we're gonna go through the same thing with Muslim women that we go through Kafir women, then what is going on? What is going on? The fear of the unknown regarding Muslim women is that they start off very good. They're covered until they get angry, then they uncover. I'm not saying all. This is a percentage. They cover until they get angry, then they uncover. They are cool with you raising a child, being a father figure, so on and so forth, handling your role. But if you and her don't work out, then what happens? She run to the kuffar or she uses the kuffar as leverage. I've had threats. These kuffar are gonna side with me, so watch your step, buddy. Don't try to press the issue as far as your fatherhood. By the way, I am open to accepting cash out. Nah, it don't work like that. It don't work like that. I mean, there are some simpish men. There are some simpish men that miss the nice guys that will continue to throw money out because they think that this some kind of way benefits their child. It don't benefit their child. What benefits the children, as one sheikh was given a lecture on what is the Islamic definition of child support. And when we think about child support, we think about money. I know families that are dirt poor. The father is in that child's life. Don't have money to go to SeaWorld, don't have money to go to Six Flags, but take that child to the park every Friday, and that child cannot wait till Friday. One of the greatest joys of that child's life is being with their father and being at the park with their father. So the sheikh was saying child support is being there to protect your child and to offer them guidance. And after they become a certain age, it's to be there for your child as far as advice. He said that is the highest level of child support Islamically. The money can vary. Sometimes the money doesn't exist, but the money can indeed vary. Who do you think took care of the daughters of the Rasul Muhammad Sallallahu, who did not take sadaqah, did not take charity? Who do you think took care of his daughters when he could not work after receiving the wahi at the age of 40 while married to Khadija radiallahu anha? She funded the dawah. So who took care of those children financially? But he was always there to guide them and take care of them because he was busy being Rasulullah and could not work a 9 to 5. Even though he worked for Khadija radiallahu anha, he couldn't do that any longer because he had to take on the duties of Rasul. So this is the point. The fear of the unknown has many men. Mahdi Tajani had a video up alive, and I did not watch it yet, but the title was "Should Muslim Men Consider Mgtow?" Men going their own way. These are men that have abandoned marriage, abandoned relationships with females, so on and so forth. Um, Pretty much have a lot of harsh things to say because they've been through the ringer. They've been through divorce and women, using it against them and so on, using the children against them, what have you. They've been through that. He's a kuffar. So he's asking, should Muslims go that way? Of course we should not. I'm going to watch the video, but I'm sure he comes out on the end of, Muslims should not go there. It's not an Islamic concept. But a man cannot be forced that way. You know, Me, myself, I have fears of marrying the good Muslim sister that says that oh my, I fear Allah, I do this, I do that. And one of the red flags, one of the big red flags is if she's towing children from a past relationship. And you would ask, why are they not with the father? They say, oh, well, their father's a kuffar. Say, well, how long you been Muslim? Because your child is this old. How long you been Muslim? You know, and they have the right, and they have, well, not the right, but they have the option to reinvent themselves. But they said if the father's kafir, well, cool, okay. Or if the fathers are kufar, then you don't want to send those children to kufar. You don't want to do that. Although some may argue they have rights, Kafir don't have no rights. Kafir has kufr rights. They don't have rights to guide a child away from Deen. And if the woman was not married to that man, then there's no rights. But if you're married to that Kafir man, then he would have rights because that child was born in Jahili. If it's through zina, you stepped out on your deen and had a child illegally, then that child belonged to the streets. You was in the streets and that child belongs to the streets, meaning there's no inheritance, no naming rights, so on and so forth. So anyway, this is the issue. I personally fear marrying the good Muslim sister. You know how many good Muslim sisters that I could show you pictures of now that don't cover. They used to cover when I used to interact with them a long time ago on Facebook. Not saying for myself, but just knowing of them and interacting with them and you know commenting on their posts. They comment on mine. They were covered and quote unquote practicing. As far as I knew, they don't even cover anymore. Few of them. Okay, so I fear marrying a sister that I think that's good, and then later on you go through the same thing. They say, "Well, you don't know how to pick them." I can agree with that. They can say, "Well, you don't know how to vet them." I can agree with that. I can agree with that. Okay, a lot of these women are orphan. They don't have any legitimate wakil or wali. They don't have one. You know, so they have to get a proxy, imam of the masjid, a married brother of a friend of theirs, so on and so forth. Anyway, these are the breaks. This is what we're going through these days and in these times. There is a fear of the unknown regarding Muslim women. Now, look at it this way. What if she believes in Allah on the last day? What if he believes in Allah on the last day? What if she prays 5 salawat minimum, fard, fard, 5 salawat fard, and then even above that sometimes if she chooses? What if he prays his 5 salawat fard and prays above that if he chooses? What if he fasts Ramadan, she fasts Ramadan? What if she fears her Lord, he fears his Lord? What if she believes in Allah on the last day and does not deviate? What is he if he believes in Allah on the last day, does not deviate? What if he gives his wife her rights? And what if she gives her husband his rights, so on and so forth? What if that was a scenario? What if the marriage didn't work, but she says, that's your father, I'm going on to be remarried, go to your father, this is what Islam states? And what if he says, if you're remarrying, send the children over to me by the order of Allah Ta'ala and His Rasul Muhammad Sallallahu, we can establish visitation, but I will be the custodial parent because a child preferably should not be with the step parent. And there are a lot of step parent nightmares. I know I'm an excellent step parent, but there are others that are not like me. I understand the nightmares. I rather follow the Islamic standard. Even if I love the child, I want to see the child go away. That man needs to have his child. And if she has the women and the children in tow, then that's a red flag. You have to really dig deep into that. Why these children are not with their fathers? You have to dig deep into that. But what if they believe in Allah and His Messenger? What if you believe in Allah and His Messenger and you give her her rights and she gives you your rights? What if that? What if y'all get divorced and y'all handle it exactly the Islamic way and no bitterness and no vindictiveness and so on, no payback, so on and so forth? What if y'all did that? That would be fine. But what is the unknown? The unknown is that you'll marry a woman that covers, marry a woman that prays with you, marry a woman that fasts with you. And when she doesn't get her way, you in deep trouble. You are in as much Jewish trouble that you would have been if you married a Jew. You will be in as much Christian trouble as you would have been if you married a Christian. So it's the wolf versus the fox scenario. You know the wolf. The fox, you don't quite have a handle on. You don't know what they would do. Omar radiallahu anh said, I am not a fox, nor will I let the fox outsmart me or play games with me. It's the wolf versus the fox. And I don't mean to say all women are wolves, but marrying the wolf is marrying someone that you know. Someone that you know. Not necessarily you know that individual, but you know what you eventually get out of this, and they have room to improve. But if you marry a sister that's on her deen, visually, apparently on her deen, and she doesn't get her way and she goes other than the way of deen, then you might as well marry a Jew or a Christian. Oh, brother, how can you say that? Well, the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. It's not emotional or anything. The proof is in the pudding. Let us be good Muslims. Let us believe in Allah Ta'ala and His Rasul. Let's give the rights. Let the women stop saying Islam favors men, and let the men stop saying Islam favors women. Islam is just and balanced. Islam is just and balanced. If we practice it, then everything will work out for us. But if we have underlying agendas, if we screwed the last man out of his parental rights, then she may screw you out of your parental rights. If he didn't take care of his last children, of course, with explanation, you know, same with her, with explanation, then you have to dig deep into that. And those are what we should be looking for. That's how we should be vetting. What was the last relationship about? Why did it end? Why did it end? And what would be the possible end for you if this relationship does not work? Because the more bodies women, I'm gonna say people because men are different. The more bodies women quantify, then less likely they go down a percentage of possibility of actually loving you. They might have love for you, but their the height of their emotion will dwindle regarding you because they know too many dudes. You know, women will think about the old dude. I had an ex-wife tell me not long ago. She's remarried. She told me, she's, man, I miss the knowledge and I miss the love. Like nobody will have the love that we. She tried to say we. Nobody will have the love that we had. No, you just don't love that dude like you love me, or like you still love me today. You don't love that dude like that. You know. That's what happens when you start you start grabbing them bodies. You know, the next dude you love him less. Next dude you love him less. Next dude you love him less. Now he may benefit you more. Okay, y'all might have more in common. You know, because he don't practice like your ex husband did. He doesn't know as much as your ex husband did. So therefore, you might like certain things, but you'll never have what you had because you just added another body. Now what if you try to go backwards to your previous husband? That's a whole nother body after him. You know, it is what it is. Let us be what we are, publicly and privately. Let us walk the talk. Let us believe in Allah and His Rasul and practice what we preach. Whether we are married, divorced, at odds, or in favor, inshallah ta'ala. That is all that I have. The live feed skipped. The live went out. The Wi-Fi went out and it came back, so it's gonna be a two-parter. I pray Allah Ta'ala that you benefited. I didn't mean to scare you too much, but that's simply where we are. Muslim brothers are joining the red pill and the manosphere, and they are, contemplating Mgtow. And I know brothers that actually had contemplated that. They were done so wrong by their ex-wife. May Allah Ta'ala heal us and protect us all. May Allah Ta'ala make us Muslims and not wolves or foxes. But we'd rather be foxes because the foxes are not hypocrites. They are what they are. They can only improve. The wolves, excuse me, the wolves are not hypocrites. The wolves can only improve. They are what they are. Foxes, you don't have, the foxes are more akin to hypocrites, and they, you know, man, it's hard to gauge them. You don't know what you're going to get at the end of the day. You better continue to feed it, continue to pet it, because once you start feeding it or petting it for one day, 1 hour, or you fed it what it didn't like, or you pet it the wrong way, you could lose everything, just as if you married a Jew or a Christian. May Allah Ta'ala protect us. This has been Saudi Man for Exfaktly. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.